lectures in Germany, but they were cancelled in Stuttgart and in Berlin. So political correctness is really, it's going around all over the world. Or what is your impression? Is it especially bad in Germany? And it's a shame for my country, actually. But what do you think of that? Is it coming everywhere that you can't, that free speech isn't anymore?
Germany is a tyranny, masquerading as a free country. Something like 14 venues in Germany either took our booking and then cancelled after the ultra-Zionist hate groups lied about what I would say, or they wouldn't take the booking in the first place. It's an extraordinary thing that Germans will walk along the street every day thinking they live in a free country, thinking that they have a democracy, that they are not a dictatorship, when the opposite is the case. What happens is, if a venue takes a booking, once the address and location is revealed, the tickets go on sale, ultra-Zionist hate groups, ironically, who say we must stop hate while being full of it, because what do these ultra-Zionist hate groups seek to do? They seek to make the public hate their targets. They demonize their targets, trying to get the public to hate them. So they're hate groups, and they are the very epitome of everything they claim to stand against. Ironically, they are also acting in precisely the way the Nazis did in Germany, and like every other tyranny does. If you're going to control a country in a dictatorial way, you have to control the flow of information. The Nazis did this. What did the Nazis do when they were seeking power and imposing total power? They burned the books. They broke up meetings, banned meetings, public meetings of those who were putting another view or challenging and exposing the Nazis for what they were doing. And they were right about what they were saying the Nazis were all about. So here we have, Joe, a situation where people who claim to be anti-Nazi, who claim to be anti-hate, seek to demonize and get the public to hate their targets, and use that disgusting technique to do what the Nazis did, which was to silence any opposition to the prevailing narrative of the state, and indeed the narrative of the ultra-Zionist hate groups. And Germans have a choice. They can go on accepting this, but at least be honest with themselves that they do not live in a free country. They live in a tyranny. Or they can say, and come to an understanding, hey, we don't live in a free country, do we? We live in a tyranny, and do something about it. I have been learned all my life, I've been told all my life, that German people are strong, that German people don't take crap, right? Yeah. German people currently are taking crap every day. They're having their country taken over, their freedom deleted by what is a tiny handful of anti-Zionist hate groups. And that is the story of the whole control system. Its whole foundation of control is intimidation. Yeah. When you're not intimidated, it doesn't know what to do. It's like these hate groups, these Zionist hate groups, that me and Jamie have faced. When you're not intimidated by them, they lose their power. And when they shut something down, then you just build something up. Okay, so they're going around, you know, like the fairground. They're going around with the hammer, and it just keeps coming up here. Yeah. So hello, all right, hello, whoa, hello, over here.
I won't succeed. That's my opinion. But you think you say that's all part of a plan to control the whole world. So it's in Germany, but it can happen everywhere, and it starts with that you are not allowed to question what's going on.
Exactly.
You're doing that. You're talking about Agenda 2015 and 2030. Can you elaborate a bit about the plans that are coming or that they want to come up and hopefully are not coming?
Well, let's just take it on, and I'll bring it round to that. Yeah. How the freedom to speak in Germany, and this is other places as well, happening in Britain, is done, is the ultra-Zionist hate groups, a tiny number of people. Most Jewish people don't even know they exist. I've talked to Jewish people. I said, "Have you heard of this organisation that's trying to stop me speaking?" They said, "No, mate, never heard of it." And this is the sad thing. And in another way, a disgusting thing, is that these tiny group of hate-filled bigots are doing it in the name of Jewish people in general, when Jewish people in general don't even know it's happening. And what happens then is people get tarred, the whole of Jewish people get tarred with the actions of the tiny few. So as I've said in the new book, Everything You Need to Know But Have Never Been Told, these hate groups are not just the enemy of freedom, they're the enemy of the Jewish people. And what happens is they contact venues, and when you get the odd one who would resist and say, no, we're going to let him speak, or at least won't fold immediately, they then get threats. They threaten the people, they threaten the staff. They threaten the venue or the venue group or the hotel group with financial consequences and a boycott if they allow me to speak.
Not only in Germany.
Not only in Germany. No, not only in Germany. Increasingly wider and wider. But Germany is fundamentally a major example of this. What this is part of, to go into the wider question you pose, it is an expression of this absolute global war on freedom of speech. And it's happening for this reason. If you're going to control a vast number of people, and there's only a few of you, you have to control the flow of information, because you can't control them physically. They want to do that with technology and what's called transhumanism, but at the moment they have to control people by controlling one simple thing: the people's perception of reality, the people's perception of events. These ultra-Zionist hate groups, for instance, as an example, are trying to manipulate the perceptions of the population and the perceptions of these venues that I'm some kind of hate preacher, when I'm talking about the fact we need to love each other. I'll leave the hate to them. And so if you control perception, you control people's behavior, you control what they will believe, what they won't believe, what they'll do, what they won't do, what they'll challenge, what they won't challenge, what they'll accept, what they won't accept. Now, what has been happening with the development of the internet is that the internet is a almost perfect system of perception manipulation and mass surveillance. And that's what the internet was created for. That's why DARPA, the technological development arm of the Pentagon, claims that it created the internet.
1969 or something already.
Yeah. This has been planned all along. I mean, when something hits the public arena, that's only when you see it. It's been planned long before. But if they were going to sell this mass surveillance, mass perception manipulation technology called the internet It's no good bringing it in the form that you want it, because people will say, what's the benefit for us? It's just a control system, go away. So you have to sell it, the benefits of it. So when the internet came in, we've been through this period, fast closing by the way, where there was the free flow of information, where you could speak your truth and have your opinion and reveal your evidence without censorship. But that was never the plan of where it was supposed to end. That was to get people hooked. That was to get everything connected to the internet. It was to get the internet as the prime central means of global communication between people. What we've been seeing now, and these ultra-Zionist hate groups are a part of it, is the deletion, the blatant, in-your-face deletion now of the parts of the internet that were good for humanity, which is the free flow of information, leaving only what is bad for humanity, which is the control of the flow of information, i.e. the information from which people get their perceptions of everything from. And
surveillance, actually.
And the surveillance.
They listen to you.
Yeah, the surveillance. It's a mass surveillance system, Joe, as you well know. So this is what we're seing now. And so you cannot divorce the ultra-Zionist hate groups trying to silence me from Google, Google-owned YouTube, Facebook, and all these other giant corporations of the internet that are now openly, they're not even hiding it, they're now openly destroying the alternative media and alternative opinion by either deleting websites or pushing them so far down the search engines that unless you're really looking for them, you'd never find them. YouTube is more and more censoring content, and it was always planned to be like that. It's a simple thing, okay? Fishing rod. Oh, the internet's great. The internet, great. You can say anything you like, right? Yeah. Oh, you only communicate through the internet now. Okay, that's good. Okay. Well, actually, we think that fake news, because we decide what fake news is, and all this other stuff where you're saying something different to the state's wisdom than the state's version of events. No, not having that. And so this is what we're seeing, and it's all been planned from the start. Google-owned YouTube, Facebook, they are monsters. They are enemies of freedom on a scale that we've hardly seen before. They are the digital book burners. They are the Nazis.
But isn't actually
of modern day?
And actually, people using the internet differently than they thought. You mean Facebook was planned. You have your contacts, you share your friends and whatever, and your parties. And actually, when I look at Facebook, there are so many critical things about what's going on, and so many spiritual things being shared. So let's look on the right side, because it looks all very disturbing. Is there a chance that people are waking up and sharing that on that internet that was just supposed to share what you have had for lunch or whatever?
Well, I don't think that the people in the shadows that were behind the internet were stupid enough to believe that a lot of what they didn't want people to see would initially be circulated on the internet. They probably factored that in. I think, I do agree, I think they've been very, very surprised at the scale of it. And you see, what happens when you're given a certain view of the world, and that's all you get from cradle to grave, which is basically what most people get, then your perceptions are formed from that sense of reality, from that information received. What the alternative media has done in this intervening period before the censorship began is to give people another way of looking at the world and world events, and it's had a massive effect, because people have said, hold on a minute, this makes more sense than what we've been told up to this point. And that impact, and you're right, I just finished this all-day event world tour, the Worldwide Wake Up Tour, over the last 18 months, just finished it in Maastricht. And I've seen tremendous changes in the number of people and the kind of people that are questioning things that they wouldn't question before. It is happening, there's no doubt about it. And the fact that it's happening, and the fact that it is happening ever more quickly, has created this urgency among the shadow-owned, all in the end answering to the same masters, Google, Facebook, YouTube, etc. It's given them this urgency to lock down the free flow of information, and to deny people this other way of looking at the world. And you know, in terms of, you know, people are still communicating this information. Yes, they are. Nothing like they were before in terms of its profile, because of all the manipulation by Google of the search engine listings and the news listings. But I would just emphasize that where we are now is not where it's meant to be or meant to lead. Where it's meant to lead is that anything that challenges the official narrative is to be deleted and denied. That's where it's leading. We're only where we are now.